views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Cherry Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday, and here is what's coming up in today's show. Later this off, we'll hear about the fun and romantic activities for you and your loved ones in this Valentine's Day edition of Open Weekend Preview. Then we'll speak to the Metropolitan Museum of the Art's curator of Chinese art, Jason Sun, as he explains the meaning behind 2022's Lunar New Year of the Tiger. After that, we'll speak to real estate developer, strategy consultant, and owner of the Boogie Down Grind Cafe, Majora Carter, as she discusses how low-status communities can break economic stagnation with her new book, Reclaiming Your Community. Then we'll be joined by author Esther Alix as she debuts her new novel, Stores of Gabriel, a story of how one traumatic event affects the lives of a South Bronx community. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on singer-songwriter and musician AJ Smith, followed by a performance at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hey everyone, and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So if you're thinking about doing something fun for that special someone this weekend, make sure to get your pen and paper out for this special Valentine's Day edition of Open Weekend Preview. First up is Coco Vida Coquito presents Valentine's Poetry and Comedy Dinner at Isla Cafe. Enjoy a night of great vibes with spoken word poetry, comedy, a 4-course dinner, live entertainment, R&B, jazz music, y coquito tasting. Valentine's Poetry and Comedy Dinner is happening on Monday, February 14th, beginning at 7 p.m. at Isla Cafe, which is located at 1859 Westchester Avenue in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit eventbrite.com. Our second event is for the singles out there, the 13th annual Valentine's Day Singles Party happening at Coswell's Green Cocktail Bar. And well, this Valentine's Day, come on out, mingle with lots of others and have some fun, friendly, eligible singles at New York City's biggest Valentine's Day social event and, listen to great music and possibly meet your Valentine. The 13th annual Valentine's Day Singles Party at Halswell's Green Cocktail Bar is happening on Valentine's Day, February 14th from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. located at 240 West 52nd Street in New York. And for tickets, you can visit ticketleap.com. Lastly, for our early Valentine's Day celebration for the lit ones, there's the Family Art Project's Love for Woodland and Friends at Curlin Learning Center at Wave Hill House, celebrating by creating woodland creature sock puppets together to give as a heartwarming gift or keep it to remind you of our local woodland friends. Family Art Project Love for Woodland Friends at the Wave Hill Public Garden and Cultural Center is taking place both Saturday and Sunday, February 12th and 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at 4900 Independence Avenue in the Bronx. And for more information, visit wavehill.org. And there you have it. We wish you a safe and loving Valentine's Day weekend. Up next, we are celebrating the Lunar New Year of the Tiger with the Metropolitan Museum. So don't go anywhere. In 3, 2, and 1. Lastly, for an early Valentine's Day celebration with the little ones, there's the family art project's Love for Woodland Friends at the Curlin Learning Center at Wave Hill House. And well, you can celebrate by creating woodland creatures, sock puppets together as a family, and you can give it as a heartwarming gift and or keep it to remind you of our local woodland friends. And family art project Love for Woodland Friends at the Wave Hill Public Garden and Cultural Center is taking place both Saturday and Sunday, February 12th and 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's located at 4900 Independence Avenue in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit wavehill.org. And there you have it. We wish you a safe and loving Valentine's Day weekend. All right, up next, we're celebrating the Lunar New Year of the Tiger with the Metropolitan Museum. So don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Following alongside the Valentine's Day weekend activities is the celebration of the Lunar New Year. The traditional East Asian lunar calendar consists of a repeating 12-year cycle, with each year corresponding to one of the 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac. With the 2022 Lunar New Year in full swing, we celebrate the year of the tiger. Joining us to share more about the meaning and significance of the tiger in Asian culture is the Metropolitan Museum of the Arts, Brooke Russell Astor Curator of Chinese Art, Jason Sun.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Is there a greeting that you greet people with in the new year?
Yes. Well, there are many different ways of saying, 恭贺新年, which means to, how should I express that? Which means to celebrate the new year or to give you my best wishes for the new year. Yeah.
So how do you say that again?
恭贺新年.
恭贺新年.
That's right. That's right. So if you translate that literally, which means respectfully, wish you a good new year. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful saying. Thank you for sharing that. I hope I remember it. And so let's talk about the new year. In honor of New Year, the Lunar New Year 2022 being the year of the tiger, can you share with our audience what inspired the Metropolitan Museum to dedicate an entire year? Because I understand this is going to be on display until 2023, and with different elements that highlight the history of the tiger symbol.
Yes, and actually, it's hard even for myself, hard to believe that we have done it for the last 9 years. And the Metropolitan Museum is always said to be an encyclopedic museum, and it's a museum that holds works of art and things from all parts of the world. It's very diverse and representation of all cultures from every part of the world. So to celebrate Asian art or the Lunar New Year, which is a part of the theme that we carry out in the museum, and we started in 2014, and that was the year of the horse. And so start from that time, we have done 9 exhibitions. So Year of the Tiger, this is the 9th exhibition. And we were very pleased, or we have been very pleased, to see that these exhibitions attracted a very large audience, not just Asian Americans, but people from very different backgrounds. And so that certainly inspired us and also encouraged us to continue doing exhibitions with this theme. So I think that this not only will inform people of the Lunar New Year, but also to improve the understanding among people of different backgrounds. So this is the very reason we have been doing this, and we will continue doing this.
It's beautiful and it's lovely, and it's definitely something that I'm going to be visiting, and it leaves me with this curiosity, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like, why is there an association of creatures with the Chinese calendar?
Well, this is a long tradition. It has been there for, wow, it has been there for 2,000 years. And the tiger or all these animals have been closely associated with the life of the people or with the culture. They have become important elements in in almost every aspect of life in the Chinese or in the East Asian people. Yeah.
And so what are some of the customs related to each symbol that's celebrated every 12 years?
Well, if you think about it, that each year is represented by an animal, and even though the celebrations are not very much different year from year, but it's because each one is symbolized by one animal, so there are a lot of stories, a lot of practices associated with that particular animal. On the other hand, it's a common belief that the symbol or the animal of the year has a certain influence on the life of the people who are or who were born in that year. For example, it might influence their personality. It said if you are born in the year of the tiger, you might have some kind of personality which would correspond to that of the tiger, being brave, being powerful. And this is very interesting. Sometimes people who are born in the year of the ox, they believe to be people who are hardworking, who are very strong. It's got this thing that you will see with with a certain animal, but sometimes it could be a little stubborn, by being born in the year of the ox. Yeah.
You're funny.
Yeah, so being born in the year of tiger, you might be a little headstrong, but yeah.
You're funny. No, I get it. I get it. It's a really lovely tradition that it's really a wonderful experience. I mean, I've experienced the Met. I experienced it for the last Lunar New Year, and so I know this year is the year of the tiger, and I wanted to know, like, why are depictions of the tiger a prominent artistic subject in all aspects of the Chinese culture? I mean, I saw some images of like a lamp on display, of like some kind of a war instrument. I mean, you speak to the display that's accessible to us right now at the
Sure.
Metropolitan.
Yeah. I mean, people have been, or human beings have been living with tigers since the beginning of time. And so over the thousand years, a tiger has become a very important element in our lives, in our culture. And for example, the tiger has been a symbol for many things. And in Chinese cosmology, the tiger is a symbol for one of the four directions. It represents the west, and the dragon represents the east, and the bird represents the south, and the turtle and snake represent the north. So these are very. It's a very orderly world. The tiger is also believed to be the king of all animals. I think in the West they call the Lion King. King. The lion is the king. But in the East Asian culture, the tiger is the king of the world, and it really is the king of all the different animals. And the tiger is also believed to be a deity. It has certain protective power, and it will keep people from harm. And if you travel to China, for example, or travel in north and northwestern China, you will see that the kids actually they wear clothes which have little tigers stitched or embroidered on it. They would wear a hat which had a tiger's head embroidered on that hat. They would wear shoes which would have tiger embroidered on the shoes. They would wear a little jacket, and then nowadays they have become, you find them in souvenir shops. If you travel, to museums, you travel to markets, you find all these things decorated with a tiger in souvenir shops. But actually, local people do buy them because they believe that the tiger has a protective power to keep their kids from harm. And it's very interesting.
It
And the
is.
tiger, yeah, the tiger is not just any ordinary animal. In the Chinese folklore, all the different deities, all the different gods, they would ride on exotic animals. They don't ride on horse. That's too ordinary. So, for example, the god of fortune, the god of wealth, who rides on the back of tiger. He travels between heaven and earth, and he will talk. He would help you to communicate with God to to make sure that your wishes are fulfilled.
Oh, beautiful. We all want that. Oh
Well,
my
so
God.
of course you got that in the god of fortune or the god of wealth is supposed to bring wealth to you, but there's one condition, provided that you have done good work, you have
Right.
taken good care of your family, and you have been nice and kind to your neighbors. If not, God of fortune will pass by your house and go directly to your neighbors.
Wonderful. And thank you for bringing it here to our viewers, everyone. Jason's son, he is the Metropolitan Museum of the Arts, Brooke Russell Astor Curator of the Chinese art. And if you are interested in celebrating the Year of the Tiger, that is on view at the Met now through January 17th of 2023. You have a whole year, which is located at 1000 Fifth Avenue in New York. And for more information, you can visit metmuseum.org, and you can also check them out on Instagram at Met Museum. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a Bronx cafe owner's new book to help reclaim our community. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a real estate developer, a strategy consultant, and owner of the Boogie Down Grind Cafe that's been recently named Best Cafe in NYC by Time Out New York for 2021. She joins us today to speak about her new book, Reclaiming Your Community. You don't have to move out of your neighborhood to live in a better one. That explains how brain drain cripples low status communities and maps out a development strategy focused on talent retention to help them break out of economic stagnation. Endorsed by In the Heights and Hamilton's creator, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who says it's an exciting conversation worth joining. And here to discuss it further is owner of the Boogie Down Grind and author of Reclaiming Your Community, my longtime friend, Majora Carter. Yay!
Hi, Rhina.
Hi. I mean, and that comes across really long-winded, but they have to read up on you further to understand that you're like you've got like 8 honorary PhDs, you're a MacArthur Fellow, and it's important for I think everyone to understand.
And most importantly, I'm an
Mhm.
around the way girl from the Boogie Down.
That's what's up.
Let's add that.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Yep.
That's the beauty of this book because you're keeping it local.
Yes, very much so.
Well, congratulations on this.
Thank you.
I mean, you've done a lot for the neighborhood thus far, but to take it to this level of like providing like a roadmap for people to model, it's outstanding. It's outstanding. So first, let's talk about Boogie Down Grind. Let's talk about Boogie Down Grind because that is like the trending spot to be at in the Bronx.
Well, I'm really proud of it, but it really does epitomize one of the reasons why I wrote this book, because reclaiming your community is about literally our approach to community development, which is a talent retention strategy. And when we started thinking about being real estate developers and why, it was because there really wasn't a whole lot of support, to really contain and capture all the talent that's from our community to stay here. And when we asked them, well, why are you leaving? Many of the things that they came back with was, bottom line is like, I want places cool to hang out in, with my friends and my people. And so they would list things like cafes and bookstores and, and restaurants. And we realized we weren't building that here. So we took a page from the business community, which is like, if you've got top performers in your company, you do what you need to do to keep them. And why don't we do that in our own communities? Communities like the South Bronx or Native American reservations, or even former booming towns that all white people lived in, but now don't have any industry. So why don't we do that? And we realized that that's we had to check out like why we do that in certain types of communities in America. And then I worked to create an approach to keep us here, and that's why the Boogie Down Grind evolved, because we wanted that space.
And is succeeding and thriving and becoming, it's even becoming its own like cultural institution, because I know you also offer like workshops at the Boogie Down Grind.
Well, we don't do most of them. I mean, that's the thing. Boogie Down Grind is literally just a vessel that the talent in our own community can showcase themselves. So we hope to have the space in it. Folks will host open mics or credit repair workshops. I mean, we've had somebody talk about Bitcoin up in their author events. And again, what we did was literally create the infrastructure for people in our own community to see the value of reinvesting their own talent, their money, their their emotions into reclaiming our own community.
Right, hence the book, right? So let's dive into the book, because the book itself, from the pages I read, it seems as though it's also a autobiographical story interwoven into this roadmap. So how important was that for you to share your story that I'm sure most people don't know about?
Well, I was like a lot of kids. I was that kid, who, when born and raised in the South Bronx, who was led to believe that you need to measure success by how far you get away from the community. We love Cinderella stories, both here and in low status communities anywhere around the country. But the idea that, if you're going to grow up and be somebody, you can't do it here was kind of like, once I realized like this is a problem that is literally, degrading like the both the economic and the social fabric of our own community, when we believe that, our communities don't really have much value in them while we're in them. So we seek our fortunes, elsewhere. And that's why, Reclaiming Your Community, the book is about challenging the notion of measuring success by how far we get away from our communities, because we don't believe that gentrification starts to happen when you see things like doggy daycares and, cute cafes in places where you didn't see them before. It starts happening when we don't see the value in them and act accordingly.
And so what are you hoping? I mean, obviously, we know that your goal is to create this movement, and quite frankly speaking, you have already. But in putting it in this book form, like, what do you hope is going to, I guess, galvanize communities to really take what you've written into consideration?
Well, my hope is that this book is going to validate those who want to love up on their community and inspire those on the verge of thinking like, I got to get out of here, and give those who are the reasons to want to stay and support wherever they are, and re-examine their own communities and recognize that they actually have something not only just to give, but also to gain by being a part, of the future of its own redevelopment. And so for me, it's just like understanding that people can make a positive difference wherever they are, and hopefully in service of the communities that they were born and raised in.
And so I know you also have created this this investment possibilities, right? Investment possibilities, and you do them at a low level investing, right? And I'm saying this because I know that of you, and I love that you are passing that on to the next generation. And as a real estate developer, you're reinvesting into the community. And so in this book, is there that that knowledge of what it takes to even make those kind of investments?
Yeah, I mean, there's bits about all of it in there, and it essentially, from it being semi, I guess, sort of autobiographical, because I use like my story as a way to tell the story about talent retention as a community development strategy. So so with regard to the idea that we can use our own small investments, and it's like, I didn't make it up. That was the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, essentially saying that small investors can now invest in real estate development projects. So we wanted to take full advantage of that in service of our community so that they would feel like they can actually do that, because now they can. So we're going to do it we've done it for the Boogie Down Grind. There was actually a revenue share that we did after COVID opened, and we're going to be doing it for another local project here, which is the redevelopment of the former Hunts Point rail station into an event hall. So more on that later, and then people could find out about that from our websites in various places. But really,
no, go ahead. No, sorry.
But really, the whole point of what talent retention means and what this book is about is that retaining homegrown talent, it's a critical part of creating a strong local, economy that can resist gentrification. And because right now we know that so many people born in low status communities measure success by how far they get away from them and reinvest their money in places that actually that aren't their home, or hometowns anyway. And not that we're saying, don't go, don't leave or whatever, because not everybody is going to do this. But at the very least, we want folks to give their communities a second look and recognize that they have more power than they think they do in terms of helping to create the kind of future that they want in their own communities.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And thank you for bringing it to our viewers. Visionary Majora Carter. She is like living it and being it and doing it. And, the book itself is just another aspect to what she's already contributed to the community. And we're so proud of you. And thank you for being here with us. And you guys, once again, Reclaiming Your Community, the book, You Don't Have to Move Out of Your Neighborhood to Live in a Better One, is out now and available at the Lit Bar, another local institute, right? It's a bookstore on 131 Alexander Avenue in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx. Support your local businesses and, of course, anywhere books are sold. And you can visit MajoraCarterGroup.com. And of course, we forgot to mention, but I'm going to let you know that there's a Valentine's event happening called the Love Train at the Boogie Down Grind. It starts at 7 o'clock. The Boogie Down Grind is located at 868 Hunts Point Avenue in the Bronx. And for more info on that, you can visit them on IG at Boogie Down Grind. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a new novel that tells the story of how one traumatic event changes the lives of an entire South Bronx community. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a Dominican-American writer, short film producer, and fundraiser for New York's elite philanthropic and nonprofit circles. She debuts her new short story collection, Stores of Gabriel, a book set in the South Bronx during the mid-90s that portrays a tightly knit community during a time of crisis, bringing to life the vibrant Latinx Caribbean culture of the neighborhood while demonstrating how loss affects the lives of several interconnected loves. Here now to share more about the book, Stories of Gabriel, is author Esther Alix. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations on your debut novel.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited and proud. Can't wait to share it with the world.
Well, we love highlighting you during Black History Month. You identify as a Black Latina. I can relate. And so it's very important that our stories are out there and they're written by us and presented by us. So let's just talk about how, I guess, personal this story is to you.
Personal in that these are people that I love. These are people that I care about. I really wanted to convey my neighborhood in the most loving way. And I really wanted to show that in the way one story affects the whole neighborhood, right? Like one thing happens and everybody hears about it. Everybody knows about it. There are people who we know how they're impacted by it. And then there are people where it resonates and we have no idea how important it was for them to learn what happened, to help, to be a source of a network, a support for the person that, the thing happened to, the victim,
Right. And so in what I've read thus far, what I get is this understanding of just knowing that when you live in a tight-knit neighborhood, right, what we consider to be, the bochincha is really a means of news traveling without knowing the impact that it's having on the individuals who are sharing this information. And in your storytelling, it seems as though you're really out to just educate individuals into understanding that there's your immediate family, and then there's your community that acts as a distant family.
Yes.
And how
yes.
one occurrence impacts like a whole community. And, you know, quite frankly speaking, we're in this place right now, collectively, in trying to figure out how to heal together.
Right. And I think that's what the last two stories are really trying to convey. Like, you know, we have come together, we've helped this young woman heal, but in doing so, we've also healed ourselves, right? Like, we are reckoning with our own past, with whatever misdeeds we think we've done, whatever love we think we've, conquered, come together with. So really it's an opportunity to talk about like how we come together, how we help each other, how we heal together, right? In something that feels traumatic, maybe to the one person, but really the trauma resonates throughout the whole neighborhood.
Right. And so I want to read a quote that I just read, which says that the Stories of Gabriel is not a love story, but a story of several interconnected loves, lost or found, new or lasting, which for me identifies life.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's all about love. It's about long-lasting love. It's about heartbreak and how you come back from heartbreak, how you lost something so essential to yourself, and now you have to find your way back to self-love, right? All of those ways in which we love each other, how we think we don't care for each other, but really we just love each other and don't know how to express that love to one another.
And then there's also this acknowledgement of the 41st precinct, which is also recognized as Fort Apache. And I bring it up because, that was a nickname that it was coined with in the 70s with the movies and so forth. And then there's this, this psychology role that it plays on a person's upbringing, having their neighborhood identified as a war zone.
Right.
Right. And so here you are highlighting the actual essence and the vibrancy of a community that is depicted, on the outskirts as a war zone.
Yeah, I don't know that South Bronx, right? Like whatever that war zone is, I'm sure there's crime like there's everywhere, but the South Bronx that I know is full of people who love each other, working class, poor people coming together, supporting each other, loving each other, finding ways to thrive in a place that is not set up for any one of us to thrive, right? It's just not set up for us to succeed in any way, but somehow, right? We can gather ourselves and we can move collectively up and out. So it was really important for me not to think about like the perception of the South Bronx, right? Because the real South Bronx is full of love. And it's everywhere. You just have to look for it. You have to know what you're looking for.
And so why was it important for you to share this story in a means of like referencing, almost like imagining walking through a hallway?
Because it really is like, there's this, it really is like you referenced earlier, like the bochinche, right? Like you hear something happened, right? And it just moves through the neighborhood like wildfire. But then really it's like, but what happened? Like what happened to the person? How is this impacting this person? And then there are the people close to that person who really okay, how do we take care of our loved one, right? Like maybe not real family, but family in the sense that I'm your neighbor, right? Like I know you come to me when you don't have enough cafe, when you don't have salt, like, so I want to be there whenever this thing is happening for you, right? To take care of you, to help you in that way. So that was important for me to talk about and tell the stories in depicting love in that way, right? Your neighbor, you love your neighbor. If you've lived in a place for 40 years, you know your neighbor, right? And you've had the pleasure of knowing their children, seeing them grow up, knowing their extended families, being invited to Noche Buena, like all of those things are right there. And so it's hard not to think of your neighbor as an extended family member.
And so before we go, you said something that, because our previous guest has this book called Reclaiming Your Community. And you said, when you make it and then step out, but then when you go visit, right, you're like back at home. So what is that like for you, having left and then coming back?
Having left and come back, I appreciate it so much more. Like, I really see all the ways in which my neighbors took care of me, right? All the ways in which they were looking out for me, right? It's hard to see when you're like embedded in it, right? Like, you're in it and you don't see it. But I every time I visit and I see my neighbors, my friends, they're like, how are you? How is it? What's going on? Like, they care for me. The care is still there, right? As much as I care for them and love for them as well. So yeah, that's super, super important for me to like convey that.
Well, it sounds to me like Stories of Gabriel is your love letter to the South Bronx, to your neighbors, to your upbringing. And it's so beautiful for you to give it back in that manner.
It is. Thank you so much.
Sure. Before we go, what do you hope people leave with when they read your book?
Hope, right? Like, it's the South Bronx is any place that is struggling, any place of where a neighborhood is predominantly of color, any place where that sort of tight-knit community exists. There is hope, there is love, and if you look for it, you will find it.
Wonderful. Thank you, author Esther Alix. And once again, you guys, Stories of Gabriel is available at Barnes & Noble and online, wherever books are sold. And for more information, you can visit Esther Alix on IG at Esther Cristina Alix. All right, stay tuned, because Bobby C's weekly sports roundup is coming up next.
To 5-on-5 we go. Our Bronx Player of the Week is actually a Team of the Week this week. Not only a Bronx team, but a team that features two standouts from the borough itself, and that's the Fordham University Women's Track and Field team. With the celebration of National Girls and Women in Sports Day and the beginning of the 50th anniversary of Title IX last week, the Fordham Women's Track and Field team carried that celebration into last Friday's action, creating another benchmark moment for the program. The Fordham women won the Metropolitan Indoor Track and Field Championship for the first time in team history at the Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex on Staten Island. The Rams recorded 153 points on the day to place first, and they did that ahead of St. John's and fellow Bronx College, Manhattan College. Manhattan finished fourth, but the toast of the town are the Rams. Congrats to these amazing athletes from our own backyard. We'll stick in our own backyard sports-wise and move on to number 4 on this 5-on-5, where the NYCFC Academy and Youth Program wins the SEFT Cup, SEFT. That's the under 12-year-old feeder program for NYCFC. Perhaps the future of the MLS, and maybe the reigning champion NYCFC club here in the Bronx. In at number 3, how about a shout out to NHL goal-scoring leader Chris Kreider? The Broadway Blue Shirt star was the oldest competitor in the NHL All-Star Skills Fastest Skater competition. He finished third of the 8 players participating. Not too shabby for Kreider. We have more from Las Vegas with the New York Rangers star.
Kind of a whirlwind, getting here, meeting, put your stuff on, go and skate. So I think everyone's just happy to get through it in one piece, right? But a lot of fun. I mean, hanging out with the guys from your division and conference, and seeing some of my buddies from the other conference I don't get to see as often. So, I mean, obviously having the kids around and stuff, it's just an awesome event for families and for guys at the midpoint here.
At number 2, the New York Jets coaching staff led the way in the 73rd annual Senior Bowl over the weekend. The Detroit Lions and Jets staffs coached the 2022 Reese's Senior Bowl, getting an up-close look at more than 100 college prospects for the 2022 NFL Draft. The Jets have the number 4 selection and had not coached a Senior Bowl team since 1979 under coach Walt Michaels. We go back inside the locker room for more.
There's going to be adversity for these kids this week. Someone's going to drop a ball, they're going to miss a block, and they're going to feel, think about the pressure that is on all these young men to perform their job. And under this light, under this pressure, when they make a mistake, what do they look like? How do they respond? Can you pick something up that tells you that, shoot, when he gets to New York and he gets pounded for something, can he handle it? And that's a real thing. So it's those are all things we're always looking at.
And at number 1, what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets fans? Losing has become commonplace of late for the team. Here's head coach Steve Nash on the latest with the sinking Nets.
Yeah, tough game. I felt for the guys. They worked hard, and I was really proud of them for keeping their spirit the whole game. We're going through a tough stretch. We're undermanned, and we're asking guys to do more. And played against an excellent offensive team, excellent team overall in general. So, you could get into all sorts of details of what went wrong, but the reality is it's a very good team. Played very good basketball, made shots, and our guys, stayed together and fought through it. So I'm proud of them for that.
We had a chance. We had a few chances, and some of our focus level kind of diminished as they started making shots. And, we came to the bench. We had some good talks about adjustments that we wanted to make. But it was just a battle of will tonight, and they took over the game. So we definitely had our chances, take some positives from it. But, I'm kind of just saying that, kind of tired of saying that. And, we just got to keep playing. Nobody's going to feel bad for us. So I'm like really just looking forward to the next play, next possession, every time down, and trying to take those possessions and learn what I can from it, and then address it as we come to the bench, and just getting everyone on that same page and that same process. 1-3 or, a 5-point swing or 9-point swing, it's not do or die. It's just we got to keep the train going.
To the back end of 5 on 5 we go with a look ahead, as always. But before we do, how about we spearhead the one spot with one final look back in our newest add to the Sports Roundup, and that's on this date in Bronx sports history. On this date, the Bronx Bombers said goodbye to the greatest coach in franchise history. Yes, you heard that correctly. Frank Peter Joseph Crosetti was born on October 4th, 1910, but passed away 20 years ago today on February 11th, 2002. The Crow played shortstop for the Yankees for his entire 17-year Major League Baseball career before becoming a coach with the franchise for another 20 seasons. Get this, as a player and third base coach for the Pinstripers, Crosetti was part of 17 World Championship teams and 23 World Series participants overall from 1932 to 1964, the most of any individual in baseball history. He died in 2002 at age 91 from complications from a fall. At the time, he was the last surviving member of the 32, 36, 37, and 1939 World Series champions here in the Bronx. But it was his coaching career for me. Think about all those titles in the 50s and 60s, the dynasty. It has been said of Crosetti that he has waved home 16,000 runners in 25 years from the third base coaching box at the old Yankee Stadium right here in the Bronx. I've said it here before, and I'll say it again on the show. Thanks, Mom, for all of those great Bronx baseball stories. I miss you every single day. The Crow is super, and of course, so is Super Bowl Sunday. That headlines the 2 spot here. LA Rams, Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday in Cali at 6:30 p.m. Anything is better than last weekend's Pro Bowl. Sheesh. At 3 on the NBA hardwood, the Knicks are in Portland tomorrow, where the orange and blue will wrap their West Coast swing. The club then returns Monday, Valentine's Day, to host OKC at 7:30 p.m. Oh, it's in our hearts. Indeed it is, Knicks fans. Meantime, in at number 2, the Nets are in Miami to face the Heat Saturday night at 8 p.m. They'll be dancing in Miami, hoping to win. And at 1, much praise to NASCAR in its opening race this past weekend, the Clash from the LA Coliseum. It was a huge success. NASCAR is off this weekend, but returns this coming week for some action in Daytona on February 17th. The series is gearing up for the Daytona 500 later this month, the month of February. The Daytona 500 is a can't miss. So is my C-list every single week. This C-list is a Super Bowl prediction. Let me preface first. The LA Rams are the more likely team to win this game. It's a home game for them, after all. Plus, my predictions during the pandemic haven't been as good as they used to be. I'm honest about it. Maybe I just missed the mojo of our Bronx studio. Who knows? Too much time spent at home in 2020, 21, and 22. It's finally getting to me, you know? I digress. I'm still going for it here with the C-list, and I'm taking the dogs, folks. Well, the Bengals, that is. 33-28 over the Rams. And the logic is actually pretty simple. To beat LA, you need an all-out passing attack. And it's Joe Burrow and Cincy's time, my friends. I believe he will have a great game. I think he'll have great success throwing the football. 33-28, Burrow MVP. Book it. And that's right, I got the Richard Petty jacket on. I'm ready for NASCAR. I'm ready for football. I'm ready for all the stuff here, folks. That's your look at sports. We'll see you next time right here on BronxNet. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everyone, welcome to Open. So our last guest is a Colorado native, now New York resident with a rather unconventional path for an indie pop singer-songwriter. A young associate violinist to the National Symphony Orchestra while simultaneously serving as an engineer and infrared systems developer for the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory in high school. With dual passions for music and technology, his unique pop sounds of an orchestrated blend of acoustics and electronic instruments informed by classical, rock, folk, and theater-led, his self-released first EP, Dragons in the Sky, to hit #3 in Australian pop charts and opened for the Eagles at the Beacon Theatre. He's performed in the Off-Broadway and West End hit Close to You, Burt Bacharach's Reimagined, and learned up to 10 instruments. 10 people. He's come a long way from the Rocky Mountain U.S. Navy background to now performing one-man live shows with built-out custom rigs that allow him to play a multitude of instruments all at once. A sure spectacle of showmanship. Everyone, please welcome AJ Smith. Ta-da!
I love that. I need to have you around with me all the time to introduce me. That's great.
The truth is that you are very impressive, right? Just to read about, and your sound is definitely a hook factor. It's definitely a hook factor. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
So I did mention playing 10 instruments, but I did not identify the instruments. So what are these 10 instruments you play?
Yeah, I first started on piano. My godmother was a piano teacher. So piano, then violin, then mandolin, guitar, drums, bass, ukulele. I'm forgetting banjo. Once I get up to about 8, I forget which ones I've said already. Let's see. What have I not said? I said banjo. Did I say bass? I said drums. Did I say organ? I play organ too. Because you have the foot pedals. And was that 10 or was that 9? I don't know.
I lost track. Just the fact that you're able to play 8 is enough, even though I know it's 10. And if you forgot to name the other 2, so be it. They have to come they have to come see you perform. But what's interesting is that you have this technical aspect to the way you present, right? So I know we've got these songs that are now being listed on the top billboards, 10 cool pop songs, right? But which is Grammy, right? And we're going to talk about that. I'm more curious about what that looks like when you're on stage. And I understand you're touring right now, right? You're not even here in New York.
I'm in North Carolina, or I think actually right now, Virginia, on my way to North Carolina. We're playing in Raleigh tomorrow, and then working our way back up. We are playing in New York on the 11th of February on Friday. So super excited for that. That's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, it's actually tonight. You're gonna be playing tonight. This Friday.
Oh, is that when we're time travel? Look at that. Yeah. I'm heading up to New York tonight, February 11th.
Well,
it's that Navy tech background. I'm a time traveler now too. So.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you play 10 instruments all at one time. I know you don't play them all at one time, but it's I'm sure you'll invent that too. I'm sure you'll invent how to duplicate yourself.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. So, all right. So, okay. So you were touring, you're coming back up to New York. You're going to play at the Bowery Electric. And I'm interested in what your set looks like what that experience is.
So right now, I did bring a drummer with me this time. So then that way it's not just me holding it down on my own on the stage. And so my set, we'll come out and I'll usually open on electric guitar, and I'm trying to get people to sing along right away, because even if you've never heard my music, I try to write them to be infectious and catchy and easy to learn and sing along, so that you can just be having an amazing time. And my songs mostly on this tour, they're from my upcoming album. So they all have this concept of dreaming big, or taking titles that are about dreaming big. Like my most recent song that I just put out, Grammy, it's not actually about the Grammy Awards. It's about my grandma. And, she was the biggest supporter and fan of my music, and still comes to every show that she can, rocking an AJ Smith tee, calling up her local radio station, all of that kind of stuff, But I thought to myself, Grammys, yes. Do I want to be performing at those one day? Of course. But, my OG Grammy is the one who's always been there to support my music. And she's more important than any award will ever be.
That's lovely. But it's clever, too, because you're affirming it as well as you chant Grammy.
Manifest. Yep. Got to manifest it, right?
Yeah.
Put that energy out there.
I see you. But you're also paying homage to your grandma, who sounds like a serious OG.
Oh, she's awesome. She's the best.
And so, all right, so we talked about Grammy, and I know you're going to be performing Cooler for us later, but let's just talk about the style in which you execute, because you have your own flavor. You definitely have your own flavor, and I can totally see you winning a Grammy, so I'm putting it out there for you too. Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So stylistically, I have a lot of, I would say, classic influences, pulling back to Queen, Freddie Mercury on that rock side, to, Sam Cooke to get some of, that lyric and soul, to then in more recent years, or even like the Zombies, in terms of that classic rock and all of that, to then in more recent years, drawing a lot from Panic at the Disco and Bruno Mars, and sort of like these people who are larger than life personalities who have this sort of ability to hit on those retro, actually playing live instruments types of sounds, while still bringing something fresh and new. And that's always what I've loved about, all of those artists. And that's what I'm trying to do too.
Well, that's what our viewers are going to love about you. You heard it. I'm telling you, people, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. That was AJ Smith, and he's being humble, but he's larger than life himself. All right, don't go anywhere, because when we return, AJ Smith is going to perform for us. You don't want to miss. Welcome back. Here now to perform his single Cooler is AJ Smith.
I'm sipping on my honey ginger green tea, 'cause when I drink coffee I get jittery, and I'm already nervous face when you're next to me. I pray to my watch, the time would just stop. I don't know what to say, cause I don't talk a lot. I'd love to spend a couple pennies for your thoughts, and I'm hoping you can get my stomach out of knots. I have to admit, I'm no good in this, and I hope that I made a good impression on you. And if I didn't, baby, maybe I can get a redo, and we can meet back here in a day or two. And when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother. Oh, in my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. Ha, I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. Blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler. Cooler? I wonder if you're laughing at my jokes on me. I don't know if you think I'm corny or I'm sweet. Oh, I'm way too wrapped up in these insecurities. I gotta calm down, think I'm blowing it now. And I hope that I made a good impression on you. And if I didn't, baby, maybe I can get a redo, and we can meet back here in a day or two. And when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother. Oh, in my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. Ha, I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. Blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler. Cooler? So cool. I promise I'll be cooler, a hell of a lot smoother. I'll wear my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. I promise I'll be cooler, yeah. No, I won't be no loser. I'll blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler.
It doesn't get any cooler than that. Whoop. That was AJ Smith, everyone. And AJ is going to be performing tonight, Friday. That is February 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the Bowery Electric, located at 327 Bowery in New York. And for tickets, you can visit theboweryelectric.com. And for more info on AJ Smith, visit him at ajsmithmusic.com. And you can also follow him on social media at AJ Smith Music. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Happy Valentine's weekend. Happy Lunar New Year of the Tiger, and happy Black History Month. Adios.